This is horrible. I'm so sorry. As I try to like adjust this. This is what happens when you go live, folks. There's a don't ask for production quality. You get our bad production quality as it's slowly sinking down. I feel like it's the Titanic or something. And this is so off center. Oh my goodness. Welcome. Welcome. Let me just go live. My phone is fairly far away from my face, and as you can probably see, I have glasses and I can't read very well. So I'm going to watch on the computer for anybody's comments as we do this. I've got everything set up in front of me, and we are here to cut the Copihue quilt. It looks like Copihue. That is not how you say it. It is Copihue. It is a Chilean bellflower, and it is the national flower of Chile. Let's see if this gives me a thing. It's like Fabrications is live. You should watch them. Or there we go. It's totally doing it. So we're going to watch that right now, and I can keep track of the comments as they come up. And here we go. So if this is your first time joining us for so long, welcome. We are going to be cutting out our pieces today, and I want to see if I can get this. Maybe if you just try to be cognizant of where cutting on this. And can we see okay? It seems the video is okay. We are going to cut out almost all of the pieces. We're working with templates. So you will have to come with your pattern, and you will have to cut these out with scissors. Don't use your fabric scissors, obviously. And for anyone who's sewn garments before, it's the same like cutting out a bodice piece. You're just going to lay it down on top of your fabric, and you're going to cut around it. I'm going to start with the leaves. In my kit, that's this pink color. It says to cut out a 5-inch strip and then subcut. Subcut means to cut into smaller cuts. And for me, like, I feel like that's really sort of wasteful. So I'm just going to, am I like here? Like this. Oh no. There, it's a little bit better, maybe. I'm so sorry. One day we'll hire someone who really knows what they're doing with AV stuff. So yes, instead of cutting this up into smaller bits, I'm just going to lay these templates down. I'm starting with the leaves because they're a very simple cut. And this for me is small enough that I can just hold it with my hand and use my rotary cutter and cut around it. If you're not using a rotary cutter, I strongly suggest getting some chalk and tracing out the outline, and then you can use scissors to cut it. So for our baby size quilt, it says that we need 6 of these. So, and I've already, sorry, I should have talked about this first. I've already prepared my fabric by ironing it. You don't have to pre-wash it. I've used flatter spray to help stiffen it, keep it from fraying. You can use what's it called now? Best Press as well, which we have both of those at the store. So here we go. And if you're logged in, if you've liked and subscribed, and you're able to leave a comment. Let me know who's watching. Let me know if you're sewing along. Let me know if this time works better than Friday. That's sort of what we're trying to play around with, the best times. So you can see there's one leaf. I'm gonna have 6 of these. And doing it this way lets really like maximize the fabric. See if I can get all 6 strip. I think the answer is no. You only need this for the leaves. You don't need this piece for anything else, and you end up with a fair bit of extra. And I'm just going to take my sweater off because it's warm. Here we go. This is not cutting cleanly, and that's a sign to me that I probably need to change my rotary blade. I'm not going to do that right now because I moved all my stuff off the table. I have no idea where my rotary blades are. My sewing things, my sewing machine is off to my left, my machine and my serger, and the table is full of all of the other things I normally keep on my cutting table, my stand with my rulers and my bin with my markers and some knick-knack kind of stuff. And I've lost track. I've cut 4. All right, looks like we're going to be able to get 5 out of this. So we'll need to do 1 more. And yeah, you see, if I had subcut this to cut 6 of these, I would end up with just this like extra loose piece. Not worth it at all. And all we're doing today, we're not sewing today at all. We're just going to be cutting out our pieces. We'll start sewing next week. This time is for excellent. That's great to hear. Yeah, I abandoned my husband and my kids for dinner. I'm not cooking dinner and leaving so you guys can eat without me. Just sort it out. Yeah, and this way, if anyone has, go do afterwards, they can go do it. So there are my 6 leaves. So I'm just going to keep the template with them. The ever ubiquitous Wonder Clips that are great for everything. And this piece is now done. And you can see, like, I would have had this whole piece left. No point. I'm just going to cut off the extra bits here because we don't really need those. And then, save this. This is a big, useful piece of fabric for another project. Once you've gotten, a fair bit of quilting under your belt, you're going to end up with a ton of scraps, and then you can start looking at doing, scrappy quilts. So the next thing we're going to do is probably the most complicated piece out of all of this, and that is the Flux Shapes. The only reason that this is really complicated is that you have to take into account the direction of the flowers and the direction of your fabric. So we're working with A1 template A. So we're going to cut this template, and we're going to cut some 5.5 by 6.5 inch squares. And what makes this difficult is if you look at, we're doing flip to page 6. This is the quilt that we're going to end up doing. So we have 3 colors in these bundles. We have like a dark, a mid, and a light. And if you look at it, you need, in order to make that block, the bellflower shape is made up of 2 of these pieces mirrored, 4 of them actually, but mirrored in different directions. So if your fabric is directional, you need to make sure when you're cutting your template, you've got it placed accordingly, especially if you've got something that is directional so that you don't end up with rainbows on one side, upside down, and on the other side, right side up. Or you can, it's totally up to you, it's your quilt. But for me, that would drive me nuts. So, and I actually took like half an hour to really brain this out this afternoon because I was not doing it well. And so we need a total of 24 of template A. So you need, and that's 3 different colors, and you need 2 like this, 2 like this, 2 like, hang on. I see I'm looking at the thing. Sorry, 2 like this and 2 like this. And of each color. And that will give you 4 times, sorry, 2 times 4 is 8 times 3 is 24. So much math, like so much math in quilting. To make this faster, what I have done, and if you are new to quilting, I suggest, if you want to try this, go for it. If you are adventurous. If you are new to quilting, you might just want to cut 1 piece at a time. But to make this go faster, and because my pattern is pretty all over, I'm not worrying about fussy cutting about to get, you know, a face right in the center of something. I'm going to layer my 3 pieces on top of each other. And what this will allow me to do is to cut all 3 at once. And I chose this flowers. My template direction is correct. Because again, like I said, I really struggled with, is this right? And this is going to be, if the 3 of them are going to be up, no, 4 of them are going to be upside down, and 2 of them are going to be right side up, the way the lips of the bellflower go. Showing you here again. Hang on a second. So see, two of them are right side up and 4 of them are upside down. So I'm going to orient this so that the correct way is upside down, and not worry about them being, the rainbows being right side up on the upside down tulips, if that makes sense. It totally does. Trust me on this one. Just let me go with it. So cutting this, and make sure that I'm not cutting into my stitch here. And that I'm cutting through all 3 layers at the same time. They're nicely lined up. So I'm going to do, and I was teaching a class in person last night, and I saw people like sawing with their rotary cutter. You don't want to do that. You want to push hard and smooth through it, and that will give you this cut here. I'm just going to get a pair of snips to do this one little piece here. Oh, come on. And see, there you've got 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to keep cutting these. Dropped my sweater on my foot and my markers are falling. Everything's falling. All good. And if I wanted to, actually, I'm going to do this, because if I line this up really nice here, it's going to save some fabric. So, and this is why a sharp blade is important, because otherwise you're not going to get through 3 layers of fabric. You're not going to get through 1 layer of fabric. So there's my mirrored pieces, and those together make the bottom of, oh, let's bring it down so everyone can see the bottom of that bellflower. And I'm going to lose a little bit in the lining up of them because of, if I do that, am I going to run out of room? Yeah, I got to go here. You'll lose a little bit because of the sequence and how the pattern lines up, but it should line up pretty nicely. And of course I just, that's okay. If you feel you are the kind of person who is liable to not cut straight and cut into your template, trace your templates out onto something, cardboard or oh no, it's like just off. Darn it. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. I need one like this. Do I have enough room to do that? This afternoon and it was fun. I don't like this. Sometimes you just have to like it. So I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be my bottom piece. So I've got 2 in one direction so far, which is what matters. And we need to cut squares from this as well. So we can't just like cut all over it willy-nilly. We have to sort of follow a layout. Okay, so that's that piece. It sort of ends up making, oh no, did I do this wrong? Sorry, no, that's that piece. It sort of ends up making like, I'm literally, you can see what I'm doing here. That was like that, so I need one more like this, which is going to go here. And we're going to push this over as far as I can. I'm going to double check underneath that I'm cutting through all 3 layers at the same time. There we go. And I'm going to move these pieces out of my way because I do not want to cut through them. That would be bad. Okay. So there are the bottom pieces of that L shape. And now this was like this, which means that this piece goes like this here. And I think I might do like this here. Mm-hmm. And what I'll do when I'm done all this is I know what the block is supposed to look like so you folks can see. Aha. So I just need 2 more like this. And then we can cut out, and we don't need many blocks. I think we need, it says 12. Part of the problem with this too is that the way Tulip Pink has been laying out their fat quarters is the not oriented with the design oriented faced up selvage to selvage. It's been in the opposite direction. So there's that, which means we need one more just like this here. And then we're going to double check something here off camera. 5 inches wide, 6.5 tall. Well, we're gonna try. We're gonna see if we can get. I have a feeling that because of the way this print is, I may actually run out of fabric. Oh, which would not be good. Before I start cutting those, I'm just going to take a second here to double check. The taller 6.5, and this is 5 by 20 by 6.5. Oh, I only need 2. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of each color. I might squeeze this out of 1, which means 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. See, math, so much math, so very much math. And double, that goes like that. So we're going to do this down here before we do anything else. Right at the bottom there. I said to people, even if you don't want to sew this, come and like watch me sew. Listen to me rant to myself, because most of the time I'm just, you know, talking to me, and now I feel like I have an audience. I do have an audience. And if you like my funny jokes, okay. Now, looking underneath, yellow is the smallest. We're going to square this up like so. Hang on. And if things are a little wonky underneath, meh, for me, at least. So squaring up, making sure we have a nice, even line. And then this wants 6.5 tall. So my ruler's only 6. So I'm going to just have to come down to the half line here. And you can see there's like not much left of this. And now this is just a tad over 20 inches. So I want to make sure that I am cutting these mostly. Yeah, so we're going to just square this up very little bit over here. So I got to make sure I've got that yellow underneath that is potentially there. It's not quite lined up because the cut was a little wonky. Using the table to cut because the mat could be inaccurate, but the ruler is always going to be more accurate. Except today for some reason. So there is 5. Quilt math should replace this old school word, right? If you have a fat quarter measuring 20 inches by 18 inches and you need 4 blocks, what size blocks should you cut? Baking too, it's, you know, it's really like, it's good exercise. It's very good brain exercise, and it's any person that wants to, you know, exercise their brain, teach their kids. And this one's just going to get trimmed an itty little bit on the side here. I have a feeling, yeah, so when it comes time to sew that block, I've lost a little bit of my my square here. My seam allowance is not going to end up being a 1/4 inch, but it's not big deal. We'll make it work. So if the way these blocks are going to be laid out at the end of everything, it's going to look like this. See? Let me pull it down a little bit more. Did that work? Yeah, see? There's your flower. So now that this is all done, the last thing for us to cut is the background. And I'm going to put these all like so. These are for me to clip together with a Wonder Clip. I'm just going to do this. I need to get a bag of some sort to put everything in so that it's ready for next week. So the last thing we're going to cut is your background. That's the largest piece of fabric that you would have had in the bundle. There's also binding. This one's my binding. I haven't done anything with that yet. We don't need it right now. You will also need backing, but not something you need today. And we're just going to complete the quilt top in this quilt along. Let me just, this is moved again. Or here. I don't even know. I'm giving up officially. Okay, so my fabric is folded in half. I'm going to start by this one. I am going to subcut. So you need to cut sashing and borders from this as well. And I'm not going to cut those today because we don't need those until the very end. And I would rather keep them all together in one piece instead of cut them. And for me, it means I'm going to potentially lose them. So I'm just going to subcut template C, which is the border that goes around the leaves and the shape of the bell flower. And then there's also some other pieces. It looks like, oh, the little pieces that go under the flowers. So we're going to start by subcutting a 5 1/4 inch piece and then cutting these templates from it. And I'm going to do it in half because it's easier that way. And I'm going to, hang on, just going to measure this. This piece is just about 5. Oh, this is just 5 1/4. Yeah, okay. So I am going to square up my top, and I just lost my piece. Damn it. It didn't go far. Hilarity ensues. Someone came in the other day to the shop and they were like, oh, blah, 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 so long. So yeah, it's like the time that I dumped water all over my sewing table. And they're like, why are you drinking in your place? And I'm like, well, I was talking so much and I needed a drink. Funny things always happen here. Anyway, because I'm going to cut subcut from it and I want to make sure I have edge, because you can see that this edge is not very clean. And it said 5 1/4. And here we go. No, it shifted. Don't shift. Okay. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to cut 36 of these. Okay, I need to cut 3 like this. Okay, I'm just going to do 1 for on camera, and I will do the rest in my own sweet time, because that's how that's going to go. And everyone can see what I'm doing. And you don't need to mirror these. Same with the leaves. You don't need to mirror them because this is a solid. So you can just flip it over. And I am cutting these 2 at a time because who has time to cut 36 individual pieces? So we go like that and then like this, and that should yield what we need. Nope, not like that. Like this and like, like this. Yes, and like this. It's just being difficult. There. I'm going to move this over. There we go. I think because this template has cut out before, it's just ever so slightly shaved in parts, and so it's not as true as it could be. There's a product you can get called template plastic, which is harder to cut into. And if you're the kind of person that's like, yes, I'm going to make this quilt many, many times for all of the lovely people in my life that I care about, invest in some template plastic because it will be more durable than. And what this allows you to do is avoid cutting, like you made that cut already, and by lining it up like this, I've made this cut. So you're being economical in your cuts by doing it like this. There we go. Anyways, yes, durable template plastic. Be careful of your fingers. So you can see, obviously, you will need to do, so far I've got what, 2, 4, 6, 8. This is going to be 10. I'm going to get 12 out of this, which is 3 pieces. And I got a fair little bit here left, so which means what that says to me is I don't have to like butt this up as much as I think I do. But yes, I will continue to do that bit in my own sweet time. You do yours. That's your homework for this week. You should I don't know. There's so many little pieces. I really have. Underneath this table are 2 like 60-liter Tupperware bins full of scraps, and I've gotten to the point where like I can't save everything in my life. I wish I could. And it all goes, I put it through textile recycling. I give it away, or I like I think H&M accepts even bits. Because I don't want it to go in the landfill, but I can't keep it. I have too much. Wonder clipping it together. I will cut out more. This piece, though, we're going to do this because this is another subcut that we have to do. So we have to cut 2, 2.5. Why does it say 2? 2.5 and cut 6. Okay, by 9.5. Okay, so I'll just do one of those again to illustrate. So I am lining it up here, and this bad habit, there's like a big heavy piece down here that's sort of dragging this. If I put it up here, it's going to end up sort of in the camera view, but what it's doing is it's shifting this piece. So I recommend making sure your fabric is not dragging, will really help with ensuring the accuracy of your cuts. So 2.5 is here and here. And, you know, I said to my folks last night, measure twice, cut once. So make sure that you are measuring accurately. And I'm actually going to switch rulers at this point. This is my small, you don't want to use a ruler that's so oversized that it's difficult to handle. Because I'm trying to get 9-inch cuts, this one is by 2.5. This one's a little bit easier for me to use, but it's not quite wide enough for me to cut that subcut. So, and I need to get six 2.5 by 9.5. So, let's cut this here. I'm just cutting off the selvage so it's clean. And then 9.5 is here. So there's 2. And it looks like from that subcut, you really only need, it says you need 6. So there I've got 4. I just need to make one more subcut. So that brings us to the end of the evening. Let me see if I can do this so I can see everybody's faces. Is it going to stay? Is it going to stay? You can see I'm going to hold it here so it doesn't know it's going to be shaky. Come on. That's it. We will see everybody next week at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and we will start to have all your pieces cut out except for your sashing and your binding, and we will start to sew together the quarter circle units and the orange peel units, and that's going to become the flower and the leaves. So leave me any questions, and as my son keeps telling me, I need to like and subscribe to our channel. That's subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye.